Rath, and I'm the erstwhile digital guitarist in question. So tonight I want to go over a couple of classics, or one classic that's been re-released as version 3 a few months ago, and I missed it somehow. That's Voxengo's Boogex guitar amp. Now, the first one I used for a long time. Version 1 has this very cool EQ function on it, which works with some pretty interesting curves. I still keep it around because I still like it. I've got some presets that do just what I want them to do. So I'm not going to do a feature walkthrough on these. Basically what I'm going to do is do an A/B comparison of some of the further out settings on the Boogex. Not all of them are further out. Anyway, let's start with version 1. So here's a basic clean sound, touch sensitive. You can get a little dirt if you turn up your volume or pick harder. So let's try that out. Okay, and here is the new one. So you can hear it, it's a little bit tighter and a little bit, I don't know, just nicer sounding. Let's go for some of the further out sounds. First, the old Boogex, and I'll do one of my sort of favorite ones, which is, ooh, need a noise gate on that one, right? So let me see. This is sort of a very early heavy metal, kind of underwater-ish, bass heavy type thing that you get out of playing a guitar through like a giant SVT Ampeg bass amp. And it's a cool tone because you get some really nice breakup on the distortion. So you can hear the amplitude modulation on that. It's kind of nice. And then here it is on the new one. Oh, that's got to change that preset. You notice it's a lot tighter. There's a lot less background noise, so you get more sort of signal to noise ratio. And again, it just sounds like a better amp. The interesting thing here is that any kind of distorted sound, it seems like you got to turn the drive most of the way up, or basic punchy sound on version 1. Let me turn the mic. and 2. Yeah, so this one's kind of interesting. I tried to match up the EQ settings, but it sounds completely different. So compare. So I think if I wanted to, I could get closer to the original sound, but I kind of like this when it's turned up. Okay, now this is one of my favorite sounds on the old amp. Basically, you crank up the mids on everything and turn everything else down and give it some drive. And here it is on my version 1. So it's sort of like a cocteau, like basically a wah-wah pedal set to use as a tone control that punches up the mids. And I really like this sound for leads. And here's the new one. And then if we play a little bit with the high pass, or no, the low pass, excuse me. Oh, here it went. And give this a little bit of, get a whole different sound. So I could see hooking up a MIDI controller just to this section of the EQ. Now, just to walk through, the big new thing is what's called Dyna cab, and that one, it's worth reading the manual for. But when you turn it on, you get 2 cabs, but not just the usual 2 cabinets together parallel. Basically, there's an attack and a threshold on it. And so that grabs the chunkiness of the SM57 mic in the middle. But if I change the threshold, and then there's the topology switch here. Which I forget the details of, but it changes where the cabinets come in and how they're processed, I think, whether they're serial or parallel. So this is actually very useful, and you can use the delay to get some widening effects. And instead of having 2 volumes, it just has 1. So you keep cabinet 1 and cabinet 2 in line with each other. Cabinet 2 is fixed, and cabinet 1 can be pushed above 0 or below 0. So it has the same effect as basically a mixer between the 2 channels. Attack and release, I haven't been able to figure out much of what they do. I guess it's more of how the impulse responds. But I'm not really hearing it on that. So one other thing is on your clean sounds, There's one of the neural amps that's come out. I think the Abasi or the Plini, one of those two, has a cool setting in its clean amp where you can add in the dry guitar sound. So that gives you more transient response. So it's basically just the dry signal processed by the tonestack. I like mixing in, especially with the Godin guitar. It's got a piezo pickup in it too that you can do sort of nice fake acoustic to get more variety of sound out of the transients. But this is a really nice feature. And the Voxengo and the much more expensive Neural DSP plugins are the only two that I know that have this feature. That's more or less it. Let me look through the controls. Definitely play with this. I haven't found much need for a gate so far, which I like because I don't really love how gates work on quieter signals. And I'm just putting together some presets, so I'm really liking the Voxengo. It actually made a comeback because when version 2 came out, I love Voxengo's products, but version 2 was kind of a miss. It had a very limited tonal range, and it had this preset system that was just a nightmare. But the Voxengo 3 is back, and it's a really versatile free amp. So I recommend that you try it out. So that's it for me, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.